Let's come to the CSS Styles panel and create something. If you don't have the CSS Styles panel open, go ahead up to Window and choose CSS Styles from the menu. In here, what I'd like is to make sure that I'm looking at where it says All, and in here at the bottom you will see a little piece of paper with a plus sign. That button, when I click on it, is going to open up this box. And I will move it to try to cover over some of that other menu information, make it easier to see. This has three parts. What am I changing? How am I going to change that piece? And then where am I going to store it? So up here, I want to stick with the basics right now, which is changing an HTML tag. There are other options in there, but for now we're sticking with just changing heading 1s and paragraphs, other HTML tags. That is your selector. So once you have the item in your hand that you want to change, then you have to write a rule that says how you're going to change it. So what tag do I want? The tag that I want to get into my hand is going to be one that will wrap everything. I want the tag that is around all of my content. So I want the body. When I pick body, this is going to be something that all of the things inside it will pick up a lot of properties from. They should pick up a lot of properties in all browsers. Some browsers have a little problem with it, so we'll give them a little bit of extra help later. But body's a great place to set background color, font color information, so you don't have to write that rule for every single piece in your document. Now at the bottom, you choose where you want the rule to be defined. I'd like it to be defined in a brand new style sheet. When I say new style sheet file, and then I click OK, it's going to open up this box. Where am I being stored? New style sheet file. I'm going to go ahead out to my folder here. And in here, I see my library, I see my support files, like you can see in the Files panel. But I'd like to have a separate folder made. And that folder I'm calling Styles. The reason why I'm putting it in a folder, because I might have more than one page. If you want to make a document and you want your web pages to have a nice, deep, rich, dark background with maybe some nice graphics on it and light text, that's going to be difficult to print without ruining a toner cartridge. I want to have it print with white background, black text. So I'm going to create a second page for just the printers. For now, I'm sticking with the basics for monitor or screen delivery. So I'm going to just call this basic. Soon as you do that, a box pops out. The box has some wonderful features and some not so wonderful features. The wonderful features are you can walk through here, try things, and apply it, and see generally what's going to happen. Different browsers interpret things differently, so it's not a guarantee, but you get a general idea of what could happen. However, in here, there are things that simply do not apply. I'm not going to be changing my heading 1s and using the list rules, for example. Those are going to be for my unordered lists and my ordered lists and so on. So in here, we'll cover all sorts of tags, but not every rule is appropriate to the tag you're using. Also, if you take a look on the first category for type, you'll see some text decoration options. The one right here, you will never ever do. Promise me that. No blinking. We're going to turn this off. One of the reasons why we don't want blinking is it's obnoxious. The other reason is there's a very small percentage of people on the planet for whom it's a bad idea because it causes seizures. So don't blink things at them. In here, let's make some other changes. Font family, let's open that up. I want all of my page to have a font, but I'm not listing a font. I'm listing multiple fonts, because you can't control the font that's installed on your user's machine. What you can do is suggest. I can suggest that they have Tahoma. If they don't have it, I'd like them to show Geneva. If they don't have Tahoma and Geneva, please give them a sans serif font. So sans serif like Arial, Tahoma, straight lines. If you have a serif font, like Here, Times New Roman or Palatino linotype, those are going to be ones that have decorations on the ascenders and descenders. So you'll notice that some ones look a little more formal in some cases, and you can decide how you want that to look. Luckily, you have Apply. So right now, I will pick the Tahoma and choose Apply and see what that looks like on my screen. And then I can choose the Palatino and see what that looks like on my screen. And you can go through and play with it a bit to get a feel for what you'd like. When you've done that, you can make other changes. If I have my fonts set up in a slightly different way on my machine, then when you send me information, it's going to be based on the font sizes I have. So on my machine, let's say my base font size happens to be equal to a 12. Well, on your machine, you've messed with it and you've decided it's equal to an 8 or equal to a 16. When I go and give you information on fonts, I'm going to be giving it to you in a flexible measurement. What I'm not going to do is generally give a hard number. Not all browsers are able to resize these properly, so what I'm going to do is say, I'd like whatever your base font is, I'd like to actually make it so that it's simply 90% of that, so just a little bit smaller than what the browser thinks is normal. When I apply, you'll notice that everybody gets that, even the heading 1 and heading 2, because they're inside of the body. So those rules from the parent are being inherited by the children. Not every browser gets that, and later will need to give a little bit of extra boost to browsers that have trouble with this. But right now, all compliant browsers are going to be able to see that everything else is going to pick it up.